mark of the COVID pandemic. It's also unknown if the program could return. Tests are still available at grocery stores and pharmacies. Kcal News Mornings at 9 starts right now.
This is Kcal News Mornings.
Right now at 9, gloomy skies overhead as another storm looms. Meteorologist Kcal Dt has got his eyes on the radar as SoCal brings out the umbrellas once again.
Plus, more wet weather on the way has people living in the wildfire burn scar areas on edge. We'll check in live in storm preparations in Sierra Madre.
Plus, stocks falling again. We're breaking down the economic jitters and what that means for your financial security.
And as more Americans are feeling increasingly anxious while looking for a job, Gen Zers seem to be catfishing their jobs. We have the warning from career coaches.
Oh boy, those Gen Zers. Well, we hope you're having a good morning watching Kcal News Mornings at 9. Today is Tuesday, March 11th. I'm Jamie Yukas.
And I'm Christine Lazar for Rutabaga Shabazi. And thanks for joining us, Paul Diano and Amanda Starantino.
Right on cue. Good job, Amanda.
She likes an entrance.
Well, it's a busy day.
We're moving all around because the roads are busy, the weather office is busy.
Yeah, and you covered 2 TV stations for like 2 hours, so
yes,
there's a lot of movement here in the studio. We've got traffic issues and weather issues because of a storm coming in. Today's the weaker storm. Today's the storm that's likely not going to produce any flooding. Tomorrow, the different storm, the wetter storm, likely will. So we are under a flood watch for tomorrow afternoon through Thursday afternoon. Here's the radar right now. There's waves of rainfall moving through, and one of them is hitting metro LA County right now, and it's lifting from south to north. So those of you watching us along the 101, Woodland Hills, Van Nuys, Calabasas, it's about to get pretty wet within the next 15 or 20 minutes. It is right now in Santa Monica and Culver City and stretching north on the 10 toward downtown Los Angeles. So this is the view right now in Malibu. Yeah, you can't see much. We've got that rain out there at Mount Wilson as well. So next weather headlines. We're back to winter. It feels very wintry outside, even though spring begins in about a week and a half. Some rainfall today. A soaking rain develops by tomorrow afternoon, and then the heavy rain arrives tomorrow night, and that's when we will have the flooding concern. Today, most of the rain is going to fall by mid-afternoon, and it will mainly be light to moderate rain, not yielding widespread flooding. Rain chance at 9 a.m. and lunchtime and 3 o'clock for downtown Los Angeles. Highs will only be in the upper 50s. High temperatures today, barely in the low 60s in a couple spots. Our warmest valleys 61 and our beaches 60 degrees. We got 4 days with the rain chance, but one part of the storm looks to be the wettest. We'll talk about that coming up. Right now, we'll look at the roads with Amanda. Good morning.
Hey, good morning. All right, so the road's starting to get a little trickier out there as the rain starts coming down. So we do have a new motorcycle crash. This is on the westbound 91 before La Sierra. It has the left lane blocked there. So it is definitely slowing things down in that area. You can see right here the traffic heading into where that crash is. This is at Tyler on the 91 eastbound that this camera is looking at right there for you. So you can see it's moving a little slow and go for you over there in the Inland Empire. Overall, our usual slow spots for you. Looking at our northbound 215 camera right here at Box Springs, you can see traffic moving slow. The road's a little slick because of the rain that's come down. A 38-minute drive for you on the northbound 215 from Cactus to University. Moving over into the Los Angeles area, you can see the rain starting to move in on our roads there, especially right there on the 405, 605, and the 10. So be careful while heading out that way. We do have a crash and a fire on the southbound 2 at the 134. It has the middle lane blocked for you, making it a little tricky through that transition area. Also, we're monitoring a big rig crash on the northbound 101 past the 405. It has the right lane blocked, but really making things slow as you head into Encino in both directions. 13-minute commute on the northbound side, and it's going to be a 38-minute commute southbound 101 to DeSoto to the 405. Back to you guys.
Amanda, thank you. We want to take a live look now at Wall Street at something affecting everyone with a 401k or IRA. Stocks are down again today, but off of their lows after President Trump doubled Canada's steel and aluminum tariffs. CBS News analyst Jill Schlesinger joined us earlier this morning to talk about what it all means.
Just a big picture look is that there's just a cloud of uncertainty that is hanging over the economy and the markets. And it comes from a few different areas, right? So we know that tariffs have caused a lot of anxiety because we have an announcement of a tariff, then maybe it's put on ice, then the tariff is coming into place, then maybe it's being doubled, and there's a retaliation. So it's hard to keep track of all of those. But what I think consumers are really fearful of is that those tariffs will lead to higher prices. And those higher prices are going to really pinch a lot of Americans.
The uncertainty is expected to continue with the February Consumer Price Index, which is being released tomorrow. Well, with 2 storms moving through Southern California this week, homeowners in the burn scar areas hope they don't trigger debris and mudslides and debris flows.
Yeah, they're still trying to rebuild from the devastating fires. Kcal News reporter Lisdelia Caballero is live in Sierra Madre, where the last storm produced some real problems. Lisdelia.
Good morning. Yeah, it's one thing after another. They can't seem to catch a break. For the last couple of hours, it's been pretty dry here in Sierra Madre. The last 5 minutes, things really started to pick up. Now it's raining pretty steadily, and this is something that residents here definitely prepared for. It's definitely something the city prepared for. We can see sandbags out here. We can see wood blocks just to prevent mud flow from going into homes. I mean, we saw that those who were affected most really relied on this a couple of weeks ago, and that is going to continue to be the case. The last big storm triggered mudslides in this area. It was flowing down the hillsides onto streets, trapping cars, and leaving a big mess behind, which is why residents in the Eaton Fire Burn area and other local areas and communities are keeping a close eye on the hillsides as the storm moves closer.
Obviously, mudslides for people living in the higher elevations, it's, a concern, but this area is. You can tell as you look at the mountains that it's a dramatic change. There's not a lot of foliage up there, and so we're always concerned and just hopeful that the rain's going to be gentle.
And a lot of people are hopeful, but the reality is we just don't know how heavy this rain is going to get and what that's going to trigger. Ahead of this storm, as with previous storms, the city has worked to put up K-rails, clear up debris, clean out catch basins, and make sandbags available to residents in order to make sure the community is safe and ultimately prepared for any rain that comes their way. Of course, clearing any debris from runoff wherever the runoff is going. So as of now, the rain is starting to come down, and people really seem to be prepared and quite calm, at least for the time being. So it'll be a wait and see approach to see what happens next. Reporting live in Sierra Madre, Lisdelia Caballero, Kcal News.
Lisdelia, thank you. Some bad news for LA Mayor Karen Bass. A new poll shows 19% of Angelenos gave her high marks for her response to the Palisades fire. 41% think she did a poor or very poor job, which was worse than the numbers for Governor Newsom, the City Council, and the Board of Supervisors. She initially took heat for being in West Africa as the fire raged, and then later for firing Kristen Crowley as fire chief.
Taco Bell is stepping up to help fire victims with an extra special Taco Tuesday. The chain is giving away free tacos at the Pasadena Food for Less today while supplies last. They'll have a food truck set up from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m., but if you miss it, you'll have another chance every Tuesday until the start of April. And Kcal News is committed to being there every step of the way in the rebuilding process. If you have a question, a news tip, or a story idea, you can share it with us by scanning that QR code you see on your screen, or you can send us a message on kcalnews.com/tips.
Some developing news now. A burglary has a pharmacy owner fuming. His alarm company told the police not to show up. Assignment manager Mark Liu at the desk, where he's getting constant updates from the scene there, Mark.
Well, I can tell you the good news is LAPD finally did show up to take this burglary report nearly 3 hours after the burglary alarm was triggered at this pharmacy. The owner apparently found out for some reason his alarm company told the LAPD not to come. Now, that owner shared some security video of the burglary at his pharmacy with our breaking news crew. You can see 3 men cut the bolt on the door and break